Hey everyone, just finished dinner here at a park in Williston. I decided to bring up my camp stove and start making my own food this time, so I don't have to eat all the crap that I was eating before, packing on the pounds. So tonight I had minestrone soup and some French bread. Very nice change. Anyways, I wanted to address something. I've had an increasing number of calls from some of my past clients and other people asking me about the new deal that the government just is trying to implement, making it where the lenders have to negotiate if the property is upside down or if it's, in a risk of becoming a foreclosure. So it sounds real good on, on the face of it, on the surface of it, but there's a couple things you've got to consider. A lot of these times they do loan modifications and they'll only adjust the interest rate. So if you're at like 5.5% or 6% or whatever, they'll bring it down to like 3%. Most of the time that's only for a fixed period of time. So they'll say for 2 years, it's temporary. For 2 years, you're gonna have this reduced interest rate and then it's gonna readjust. And they have all different ways of doing it. Sometimes it adjusts up to, whatever the market is at that time, or sometimes it goes back to your original note, whatever. That doesn't really help you very much because at least in Vegas and places like Florida and Phoenix, Arizona, the Inland Empire in California, where we've all seen huge drops in our housing prices, if they adjust interest rate, it's almost insignificant, especially if it's that small of a interest rate adjustment. So what we're looking for is for them to reduce the principal permanently. We don't want them to temporarily reduce it and then put it back on the back end or something like that. We want a permanent reduction in the principal amount owed. Most of the places aren't going to do this. In fact, very, very few will do this. And the ones that do, usually what they do is they'll reduce your principal. Let's say you owe $200,000. They're going to go ahead and reduce your principal down to 160. Well, the house is worth 100. So they reduced it. You got some knocked off of there, but you're still way upside down. What's the point? There's no point in doing it. You could go next door and buy the house, the exact same house, at least in Vegas, for 50, 60, 70% off of what you're paying right now. It doesn't make any sense. The government keeps coming up with programs. Remember who's controlling the government. It's the bankers. The bankers are controlling the government, and they're going to do everything possible to bleed you dry. They don't give a damn. They're not looking out for you. The government doesn't care. You can't screw stuff up this bad on accident. It's all intentional. So I've been saying that for years and years, and I'm not saying it just because of the Obama administration. I said the same thing under Bush and before then. So they're screwing us. So then that's what it comes down to. So yeah, I had a guy call me. He had a piece of land, a vacant piece of residential land that one day he planned on building a house on. He was telling me how beautiful it is, and he had bought it at a good deal, but the prices continued to come down, and now he's way upside down. It's about 40% upside down at this point, and he said the market's still going down. It's outside of Nevada, so it's actually in Florida. So but with residential property, there's no way to generate income off of it. Like if it was a commercial piece of property, you might be able to do a ground lease or something without having to develop it and invest a bunch of money. You can't really do that with residential. So at that point, it's better just to go ahead and let the property go, or sell it, or short sell, whatever you want to do. But don't continue to make payments when you're that upside down and there's no hope of it coming back. So especially people that are on fixed incomes, it baffles me that they continue to make their payments when they can't afford it. And I see them, they're starving. They not literally starving, but they're penny pinching, but then they make this enormous mortgage because they think it's unethical or whatever the case may be. But you got to remember, we got screwed in this one. We got screwed bad, and they did it to us on purpose. So there's no reason to continue to support them. You got to cut them off at some point. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'll talk to you soon.